They're getting all the way there, and now it just won't go. Oh, here we go. Looks like we're ready to go live. We're going live. YouTube is not. We're live. I don't know if it's going to stay. All right. We think we're live and on the air. If we're going to cross our fingers to hope that we are able to stay up and running. Tony, you've been watching the game while I've been dropping F-bombs over here trying to get this live stream on air. Give us a quick summary for anybody who's just joining in as the Whitney Young Dolphins kick off.
Good ball. Check up.
Yeah, exactly. Check up at the 1. Ball goes in the end zone for a touchback. So, Tony, give our fans a quick summary of what we got going on.
So the Dolphins took the opening kickoff 65 yards in 4 minutes, scored on an 8-yard run by Joseph Clayton to make it 7-0. Then the Thunderbirds proceeded to go on a 14-play drive that ended on a great one-handed interception by Nasir Rankin about the 8-yard line, took it back 29 yards. Then the Dolphins proceeded to drive 63 yards in 2 minutes in 6 plays and another touchdown by Joseph Clayton, this time from 4 yards out, extra point good. So the Dolphins lead 14-0, and that is where we are with the Thunderbirds with the ball on the 20, 1st and 10.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks to anyone who is hanging in there out in Dolphin TV land.
So, as we said, Dorsey out as quarterback right now, and Juju Conley in.
Run stacked up nicely on that side of the line of scrimmage. That was Anthony Hood coming up in run support from his defensive back position.
So, yeah, so the Thunderbirds on their drive, just from there, it started on their 14. They had a pass interference penalty that negated a Dolphins interception at the 25. Then they proceeded just to run the ball. Then the Dolphins stiffened once it got to the 20, stuffed 3 straight runs, and then on 4th down, the interception.
Yeah, what Tony and I have been talking about here, Hyde Park gives you a couple different looks. They try to go big on that offensive line. Dolphins are countering with a 5-man line. We'll see how they hold up on this 2nd and long, 2nd and 12. Handoff over to the right side, number 9, trying to get to the corner. Harrison Gassa.
Rankin.
And then Rankin cleaning it up. So we weren't on air, but Rankin's interception in the right hand, right along the pylon, was another one-handed grab by the D1 offered basketball standout.
Yeah, he was a little beat, right? You heard the coaches saying nothing behind. It was 3rd and 25, and he was beat a little bit, but got that right hand up, tipped it up to himself, caught it, and then was able to we thought he was going to take it all the way. There's just one guy that forced him to cut back into the center of the field. But this is what the Dolphins have been doing really well so far while you were getting us back up, stretching this field and not letting the Thunderbirds get outside, and then their runs inside are picking up 2 or 3, but that's it. So here you go again, 3rd and 10.
Yep, so Lorenzo Rivas, Aaron Champion getting time at some linebacker positions. That's a handoff of the middle, met immediately.
50.
Yeah, so that's some of the Alexander Oshesky. So Oshesky and Piracini are getting some time in on this this defensive line, and the sophomores are proving their worth.
So here comes Conley to punt, Barry. So I'm not sure why, what the decision is not to run him at quarterback. Instead, you have Conley, the sophomore. We've seen Pink on tape a little bit, Pink Dorsey, I'm sorry, and the 5th. And he's got an arm as opposed to Conley right now, who kind of shot puts the ball just as a sophomore. And I'm not sure that he's that much faster than Dorsey is.
Yeah, and maybe something's there. I mean,
maybe he's hurt. Yeah,
we don't have notes. I reached out to Hyde Park, but didn't get any feedback. So
Dolphins don't believe the receiver standing on the 32.
Ball goes
kick a big bounce for the Thunderbirds.
Duhan going to roll out to the 47-yard line of the Dolphins, where it's down by number 15 on the Thunderbirds, who I do not have on the roster.
But even that, Barry, right there, that took 2 hours, 2 minutes and 30, 2 minutes and 37 seconds. But great job for the Dolphins getting off the defense getting off the field. And you look at this Thunderbird team, it's hot out here today, right? 80 degrees. The disadvantage today of being the home team is they're wearing dark blue jerseys, and they're only dressing 26 kids. So Dolphins have to have an advantage.
Yep, and this is where the big guys like to eat. So Jolich checking in at running back. Clayton's got a lot of the work. Also, Maxwell Warner ripped off some nice runs on that last drive.
Hey, he went all the way till it's time to score.
Newman with some time. Newman rolling to his right, looking deep. Nice catch by Harrison Gossa.
That's his third catch
He's
of the day.
still rolling. He's got just about the entire Hyde Park team out there to get him.
Off.
So Newman had a lot of time. Offensive line gave him a lot of time. He threw a contested ball down there.
That was 50-50.
Yep.
And Nagasa went up and got it, his third catch of the day. And then he dragged no less than 6 Thunderbirds with him.
Nagasa is a man on a mission right now.
So
he's playing really well.
That's at the 8-yard line, so first and goal. So a pickup of 39 on that. See, I am ready with the math today.
Yeah, well, that's
my job. That's all I got, math.
You got a lot of it. Newman looking to hood deep and threw it out of bounds. Ran out of real estate here at Eckersall Stadium.
So interesting. Now the Dolphins are just playing around a little bit, I think, Barry, because on that last drive, you heard the coaches. The coaches wanted them at the line, ready to go, run. All 6 of those plays were runs. 3 of them resulted in first downs, and 2 and 1 in a touchdown. So
in at receiver, Will DeMille, Joseph Gray, Anthony Hood, Quinn Duhan. Second down, second and goal. Jolich behind Newman. Newman waiting for the snap from Dale. Hands it off to Jolich. Jolich has got a bunch of room, although he's corralled. Nice tackle. Nice tackle by number 52, Elijah Thomas. I thought Jolich was going to find pay dirt there.
Jolich thought he was gone too, and the defensive lineman from behind him just got the back of his shoulder pad, the back of his jersey, and yanked him back. Still a pickup of 6, so
the Dolphins up 14-0, 6:27 left here in the first half. Dolphins struggled a bit in the red zone last week, so we'll see what they try to do here.
There's 2 runs here, Barry, that Hyde Park can't stop. They got 3 linemen up there. Just not going to happen.
Newman pulls it, gets it out to Gossa, who gets a well-deserved touchdown. Not the prettiest ball that you're ever going to see thrown, but it gets the job done. Harrison Gossa, who made a great catch earlier in this, got him free from that slot position that he was in, and Newman kind of shot put it back.
There was too much time and too much room, right? Gossa was just standing out there all by himself, and sometimes you get to think about it just a little bit too much.
Snap, hold, kick, good. Dolphins stay perfect in kicking points after attempt.
Yeah, so we got a trend going here, Barry. First drive took 8 plays. Second drive took 6 plays. This drive took 4 plays. So 47 yards for the touchdown in 4 plays. Gossa with the touchdown from 2 yards out. PAT good, 21-0. This is what you wanted to see from the Dolphins. No hangover from last week's big game against Westinghouse. Come in here, assert your authority, and not let the Thunderbirds have a chance in this game.
Yep, Thunderbirds on their homecoming. And still, we're just past the halfway point here in the Chicago Public League schedule. Hyde Park, one of those teams last year that was playing down a division, undefeated through their conference schedule. Lost in a first round, I think they're 4A, lost in their first round state 4A championship game, got elevated into the top red division this year, which makes them eligible for city championship. So all teams sort of still alive, but this is why it's a key game for the Dolphins. Dolphins coming in again on a 2-game winning streak, 3-2 overall, 2-1 in the Chicago Public League.
So Barry, you might have more knowledge on this because I haven't found it. What's the qualification for the city championship? Is it the top 2 out of each pod?
So I asked Coach Finger that, and he said, I have a 10-page document that I'll forward to you.
Ooh, short
kick.
kick.
So it's a Solomon Bradley kick,
Ball's gonna hit the
lands
ground.
at the 30, and tackled immediately. Let's make sure we get a number
40,
there.
40.
So 40, Joseph Gray. Gray playing offense, defense, special teams. So Solomon Bradley in on that, and I think nicely executed. I think Coach Finger right now saying, hey, let's make sure that we don't give Hyde Park the opportunity for explosive plays. So Bradley put that ball on the 25, and that's where Gray introduced the Thunderbird ball carrier to the turf of Eckersall Stadium Field.
So if you had a guess, did you have a guess what's on page 10, bottom right hand?
For what it
bottom
is,
right-hand
I don't know.
corner?
I would have to guess. I think what it is it's going to be straight out of that overall division, and the clusters are going to be more about tiebreakers. I don't think they're just going to take the top 2 off of all 4 of those clusters.
But then how do they? Any idea? The timeout Thunderbirds. So the problem always is, how do you account for the teams that
The
win
state
their first round? Well, it's really win their first round state game, right? Because my guess is week 10 is IHSA first round. Week 11 is everybody who lost their
first round state
playoff game,
plus anyone who was
because like
qualifier without
last year,
qualifying
or
for
no,
state.
it was 2 years. Was 2 years ago was goofy because Lane didn't qualify for the state playoffs, but then played their week 10 was a city playoff game, so the seedings kind of go out the window.
Yeah, so they will probably make it up a bit on the fly, as they always have.
No.
I think the key.
Say it isn't so.
What
are you talking about?
We respect the authority of the Chicago Public League here. I think the most important thing.
I'm all choked up.
Most important thing for the Dolphins is win ball games, stack wins.
I mean,
right?
that's just
and then you don't have to worry about that. Which the big one out there. Obviously, every game is big. Today's big. Next week against Clark. The one I'm sure a lot of people are looking to on the schedule is the Taft game. So we travel to Taft. They've played well. I mean, they always take on some tough non-conference foes. They were down in Crown Point and took on a team loaded with D1 players down there.
We can talk about Crown Point in a second. I've seen them play. We'll talk about where they rank in the pantheon of difficult teams.
So Thunderbirds back to pass.
Nice play.
Yep, good completion. Will Duhan with the tackle of number 10, Zamir McMahon. I think the Dolphins coaches are not going to be happy about that. I don't know if they thought we had 3 defenders there. Felt like maybe they thought it was a screen pass because there wasn't a lot of pursuit. They were clear to the quarterback and then just sort of stopped and looked to jump rather than finishing.
It was a deep screen. It was a wide receiver over the middle screen rather than a back coming out of the backfield. But it was definitely probably have to go back and look and see how many guys were downfield on that for the Thunderbirds.
So line of Pericini, Boubacar Berry, Marquise Woods.
Ball
up in the air.
Oh, the lineman.
Big man eats. So
and he's
the
still
ball
going.
tipped, and the refs are just going to let this go.
The pile's still
it's
moving.
Still
dude.
moving.
It's a first
so
down.
They get him all the way out close to the 50-yard line.
You got a Dolphin down at the 38. So I want to see who this is, because what happened is the person down on the field slipped as they were going back to the ball. So the ball was tipped up, and then he slipped on the turf as he was trying to come back and get the ball.
Yeah, so that, again, one of those plays where Connolly not delivering a rocket there and just kind of lobbed it over the middle.
Yeah, so real quick on Crown Point. So
yep.
you talked about it in that week 1 game, why they were going and the cancer associated with it. But Crown –
yeah, that's Lorenzo Rivas coming off.
So Rivas was hurt earlier on that first drive while you were getting stuff picked up. It looked like they were looking at his ankle, but looked a little more like a knee. But Crown Point currently is ranked 8th in the entire state of Indiana.
Yep.
So they are a powerhouse team, not only with some Division I football players, but a couple state champion wrestlers.
Oh yeah, gotta get those wrestlers down in the trenches.
They won again last night, so they have dreams of going to Indianapolis Thanksgiving weekend and playing for that 6A crown. The challenge is the best teams in 6A in Indiana, which is the highest division in Indiana, are all down south around Indianapolis. So they very well could win the northern championship, and then they're going to have to go down and face a 6A team. That'll be a tough battle, but they are a great football team.
All right, Thunderbirds back to pass. Pressure on. Hood or
Rankin
with another pick, and he's on his feet. They're going to see
Anthony
if he
Hood
can come all the way across.
Oh, that's
and
a flag.
Yeah,
that's got to be a flag.
Referee not even
right
in front of him.
That's a horse collar tackle.
Yeah,
how's that not a flag?
Because it's the Chicago Public League and Whitney Young
But that's
has the
dangerous,
ball.
right?
Yeah.
That's not. I mean, and that was obvious. That wasn't an opinion call.
Yeah.
Rankin, great catch, undercut that route, fought for the ball, stayed in bounds. He had Anthony Hood calling him over to that far sideline, but the Thunderbird receiver caught him. But that should be 15 more for the.
Yep. Definitely should be. Definitely should be. Again, Dolphin defense here. We talked on the open. I don't know if we were on air or not, but trying to stack the box today, which puts guys like Rankin and Hood sort of on islands over there. And so far, it has turned in favor of the Dolphins. So Newman, the quarterback, he's got Clayton next to him. 2 receivers left, 2 receivers right. Newman looking. He's going deep to Hood. He's got Hood. Hood on his feet across the 50, makes a cut, looking for a block, sees a seam through there, pushes Harrison Gossa out of the way, and gets out to the 46-yard line.
40, we'll call it 41 yards for you, Barry. Go ahead.
Nice pitch and catch. Newman, again, getting time. So that offensive line, Dale Cepeda, Baba Nefesimi Opadele, Perez, and Woods giving Newman some time. I'm not sure that Hood was his first read on that, but he ultimately got around to him. Might have been his 3rd or 4th read. Anthony saw a nice spot in the zone. It was open and then went to work.
Yeah, Rankin was open on a little cross, but real fast back to the interception. It wasn't a bad throw because the receiver was open. Rankin just closed the ground, got his hands out there, and then fought for the ball. It wasn't definite that he was intercepting that.
All right, Newman pitches it over to Joseph Clayton. Clayton with some blockers. Nice cut. Still on his feet. Looking for the end zone. Gets wrestled down at the 5-yard line.
All right, when we go back and watch tape, great run by Joseph Clayton right there. But when you go back and watch this, watch the block by Rankin. He just came back and clocked a linebacker, and the linebacker was just laying on the ground. It was, I think he gets 2 pancakes for that block.
Well, and that's the thing. Sophomore, Nasir Rankin, I mean, we've seen the explosive plays, but also some of the things that we've seen, the finer points of the game. And this is a guy that's played tackle football his entire life. The run support he's provided also from his cornerback position. So now you're seeing some of these downfield blocks. So it's not just a guy that's running downfield on a go route and catching long balls. He's a football player.
Yeah, there was a linebacker that thought he had Clayton in his sights, and the next thing he was looking up at this beautiful blue sky. But 32 yards for Joseph Clayton on that run.
Newman quarterback, Jolich behind him. Hand off to Jolich. Jolich looking for the end zone, stopped about a yard short.
Clock continues to run. We're at 3:24. They're going to put the ball down on the 1-yard line.
I'm sure Jolich is lobbying for.
Well, he deserved it. I mean,
yeah, he sure does, because I don't think he has a. Well, he had the long run called back last week. So Jolich came in leading the Dolphins in rushing with 128 yards on the year.
But no touchdowns.
No tutties, so maybe we'll get him one here. Newman is not lined up under center, so could be going Jolich's way. He's got 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Hand off to Jolich. There he is.
Touchdown.
In the end zone. Luke Jolich cashing it in.
Number 2, Luke Jolich.
2:40 left.
So big pass play from Newman to Hood. And then Jolich finishing things off with 2:29 left here. And I don't know why they have the clock running on the extra point.
It stopped.
Good Lord. Miles Bardsma on to kick. Von Conrad with the hold. 4-star long snapper. Ben Barrett delivers it. The operation is good. So 28-0.
Yeah, and you can just see the Thunderbirds, right? The biggest problem in CPS football is the number of kids. That's why next week when we play Clark, it's really a co-op team with kids from 3 schools. you can Dorsey's out there limping. You can see him going out for the kickoff. But some of these big kids, the linemen have been on the field the whole game. They're going both ways. And it is warm out here, right? It's 80 degrees.
Yeah, we've been baking over here. So at Eckersall Stadium, we'll talk a little more about Eckersall. I found some things out about him this week. I'm kind of excited.
We don't need to cancel him or anything, do we?
Well,
maybe
we'll talk about that later.
Maybe we need to rename the stadium.
But we actually have the entire side of the field all to ourselves because the bleachers are condemned that we're in right now.
Thanks for telling me.
I don't know they're condemned, but they're
it.
tearing them down. So all the fans for this game are across on the other side. It is Hyde Park's homecoming. We were concerned about the number of Whitney Young fans that would be able to get in today. Seems like we've got a good contingent that's here. Solomon Bradley lining up the kickoff from the 40.
Oh, is that what you, so we scored with 2:40. Now there's 2:26 on the clock. Is that the hold?
So, yeah.
Where's the hold?
Champion, not a hold. There's another hold. But
there
it finally came out. So, and Bradley came up on the support on that, and also Brian Pantoja, several holds on the side. Champion got held, and I think Damian Mendez might have gotten held as well on that side.
They called the second one. But, I mean, they're the easy ones when they're out in space like that. It's tough when it's a running game and you're questioning it, but those were two shoulder pads getting yanked back. So the Thunderbirds will start around the 32, it looks like. What are we doing here? Referees working their second game. Conversation.
Just discovering.
Well, I mean, credit to them too. They only had a 15-minute break between games.
If it's the same crew, sure.
Oh no, it's absolutely the same guys.
Yep. So there's a hold. Is sending back. Dolphins definitely working in some other guys on defense. So we've talked about Lorenzo Rivas, who's been in the game. Right now, I see. I think I saw Adrian Del Villar out there, number 54.
How are they saying the hold was it? That's where the hold was, not.
They didn't actually. Yeah, the guy
there's
didn't
no
even make
penalty.
it that far. Yeah, it was a no yardage penalty.
Okay, whatever.
Tony, you should have been here last week.
I listened to you guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, I was unhinged.
Well, we can talk about that too. There's a couple. The Dolphins got advantage of a couple of those. That face mask at the end of the first half. That wasn't a face mask
on Harrison Gossen. Yeah.
They only marked it off 2 yards because he should have come back to motion.
Motion in the backfield.
The ball was snapped on that play from the Westinghouse 48. Booley scrambled back to like his 30 or to his 35, so they marked the penalty from the 35 to the 50 when they should have come back to the line of scrimmage and marked it 15 yards from the original line of scrimmage. So it went down as a 2-yard penalty, and then it was the end of the half anyway. So.
All right, so Juju Connolly, quarterback for the Thunderbirds, and another jump on the offensive line.
Yeah, they're just tired. I mean, these same 11 kids have been on the field for these 24 minutes.
28-0, 2:15 left here in the first half. If you're joining us, our apologies. We have had limited bandwidth. We're running it off of my phone right now, so hopefully the stream stays up for the entire time. We'll thank Verizon and AT&T for their help.
Again.
Well, so they're motioning that guy, that running back from the backfield. But so 23 on his feet and Jolich with the tackle. So that was number 23, Jamilian Howard, sophomore running back for the Thunderbirds. So, yeah, Thunderbirds have this full house offense. Again, I don't know if some of our opening came through, but they opened the year in a spread offense, and it wasn't really working. Well, they won their first game using that, but it wasn't really working in CPS play and went to the full house backfield that we're seeing today.
So here's a question for you, and it could just be the way stuff got entered into Max Preps. 4 of their games 2 through 5 were all against red conference opponents, but it's only listing them as having 3 games in the conference. Is that just an input error?
Well, I'll explain. Ball's on the ground, and Connolly gets on top of it, so it'll bring up 3rd down and long. So our game against Perspectives was technically a non-conference game. So even though that was a CPL game, it was something that we had that scheduled. I think, I don't know if it was before the realignment happened.
Got it.
But it could be the same thing with Hyde Park.
Pass. Oh.
Inside shovel, and brought down by a whole group of Dolphins, trying to see who's on the bottom. I think that's Joseph Clayton.
So 51 seconds. So they're going to have to run a play here. Coach should take a timeout. I mean, if you want to. Because they can run this down to about, well, the referee might let them run it all the way down. But when that play ended, there was 50 seconds on the clock. We're at 38 right now. Ball's on the 35, 4th and 15. Yep. Coach Finger is going to let it go.
So Dolphins up comfortably, 28-0. Hyde Park with a 4th down. So we'll have to see. He's looking back to see if he has to run a play. Looks like they're going to run it. 4th down play. Wow. Back to pass. Looking deep. He's got an open receiver.
Oh, what a catch.
Nice catch by number 9. And still on his feet. Finally wrestled down by Rankin and by Jason Perez. So that was Keyshawn Coleman. I mean, there definitely been some plays that have been made out here.
That was a great one-handed catch. That was impressive.
Yep, so Thunderbirds take a timeout here with 9.6 seconds left. So the one thing with the Dolphins just jamming the box like that, a little bit of it's a different defensive coverage, right? So there are some spots in there that we'll have to watch closer if they're playing zone or man-to-man on this. But there's some spots, and the Thunderbird receivers have been able to find those. And on a couple of these, Juju Connolly's been able to hook up, I think, with Keyshawn Coleman and earlier with Zamir McMahon.
And once with his lineman.
Who – you tell me that's not going on his huddle.
Oh, absolutely. Dude, not only did he catch the ball, he then dragged the entire pile 15 yards.
Yeah, it was a 22-man pile.
I've seen
it was a rugby scrum.
I've seen rugby scrums that didn't go that far.
Yeah, Rugby World Cup going on right now in France. You locked in on that?
I haven't yet, but I'll go get that.
Yeah.
Who's the
Remy, you locked in on that? You probably France.
Who's the favorite this year?
France.
France is the favorite.
Ireland's look good. All right, so here's our last play. Connolly back, rolling out. He's still alive. He's going to throw it up in the air.
Interception
by Maxwell Warner, and he's tackled to end the first half. So nice showing by the sophomore class of the Dolphins. Warner's had some nice runs. Now he's got an interception. Had an interception taken off the board earlier. Rankin with a big-time interception. And we've got the Dolphins up 28-0 at halftime. I'm going to jump into my halftime show right now. Tony?
Oh, you my guy.
All right, so let's talk about some Dolphin sports. School of Champions. So I'm going to start off with the flag football team, and I'm going to apologize because my update from Coach OD on the JV football team is on my phone, and I don't want to touch my phone right now. Right? So I know that JV won 26-16 over Sullivan. Kind of interesting because they showed up for that game, and it was on a 50-yard no lines field.
Sullivan or Sen?
It was we were playing Sullivan, but
okay.
And
Sen has that same field, kind of in back of their school.
Yeah, so there were no lines. There was a chain gang. At the end of the day, JV was a 26-16 winner. Arian Cabral, the sophomore, big day defensively, 2 interceptions, including a pick 6. And maybe I'll just make a note for next week that we will take a look at that JV game in more detail. Flag football, conference champs for the Dolphins. So they took down Jones 20-18 and Lane Tech 12-8. Hashtag LTK. My fantasy football quarterback, Sonali Angus, in that game against Jones, 12 for 19, 217, 2 touchdowns, 1 rush for 3 yards. Danielle Lamb, 3 receptions for 71 yards and a touchdown. D.D. Dudley, 3 for 95 and a touchdown. On the defensive side, we've got some great defensive names. Out of the flag football, Nina Lloyd led with 3 flag pulls. Kennedy Glover, 5 flag pulls. Marcella Matalana, 6 flag pulls, 1 pass deflection and 1 interception for 20 yards. Then their game against Lane, which Coach Val talked to me about earlier in the week, about that being the conference decider. I mean, I think they might have a conference game after this, but just basically the way the schedules were. And so lined up against Lane, who had beat them last year. Tony, you were probably there.
I was there. Yeah.
Yep. So Lane were the CPS champions last year.
No, they weren't CPS. Taft was champions.
Right.
CPS
I think we might have gotten knocked out by Lane in the tournament. So Sonali Angus, 20 for 34, 190, and 2 touchdowns. Again, I'm clocking in those fantasy stats and winning my league.
Got those points? You're winning your league?
Absolutely.
Is that a keeper league, or how do you?
Absolutely. It is. It's a legacy dynasty. It's a dynasty league. I've got Angus locked in over the last 2 years. I just extended her contract for another 5. Marcelo Matalana, 10 receptions, 85 yards, and a touchdown. On the defensive side, Gabby Godinez, 6 sacks. Crazy. Nina Lloyd, 2 flag pulls, 2 passes deflected, 2 interceptions. Nina Lloyd, 10 interceptions on the year.
So that's impressive.
If you've got an individual defensive player league,
I think
fantasy,
she made her contract bonus numbers right there.
That she did. That she
get
did.
An extra GPA point on that one.
That'll give it to you. So they play a game against Amundsen and Sen tomorrow. 5-0 in conference right now, 10-1 on the season. We got a lot of these. Okay. Jennifer Newman is checking in. The team is out of water on this hot day, and they want to tap into the post-game Gatorade
reserves
right now. My car is parked directly outside the gate. So if you head out the front gate, you turn to the left. It's the first car there. Take some strong people to go get those 70 Gatorades out of the back of my car.
Should we line up the buses to just head right to the lake after the game so they can all get a swim in?
That is a great idea on this hot Saturday afternoon. So Whitney Young Soccer continues to be on a roll. This week saw them post a 2-0-1 record.
Playoffs, right? We're in the playoffs.
We had the first playoff game last night, I believe. So they got things rolling on last Saturday against the number 2 ranked Wildcats from Evanston. The thing about this soccer team is that they play all these CPS games,
right,
but then they mix in a ton of other highly ranked.
That's what you have to. I mean, that's the.
So Whitney Young took an early lead on a Simon Scoden goal, finishing a great cross from Sam Henley. Evanston equalized, and Young had multiple chances late but could not find the back of the net for a 1-1 tie. So we moved on to city playoffs. First round game last week against Chicago Academy. Chicago Academy had speed but could not match Young's team game and ball movement. Scoden had a game for the ages, netting 4 goals. Charlie Hockman joined his brother Cole in the assist column of the day, sending a perfect through ball to Reese Kruschke for his team-leading 16th goal on the season. Young took care of business last night against a scrappy Lincoln Park team, 3-0 to advance to the quarterfinals of city playoffs.
That is the one thing that I will, reading the Twitter feed of the Whitney Young soccer team, the other team always gets a really good adjective. Coach has some good adjectives as he describes the opponent of the day.
It might be our guy Jason Hockman on the call. Jason, who supplies me with these updates. I think he may also have control of that Twitter account.
He does a nice job with the adjectives.
Certainly does. Cole Hockman assisted John Stanton in the opening 5 minutes for an early lead. Reese Kruschke and Simon Scoden netted goals to seal the victory. Young travels to Lane Tech on Tuesday for the quarterfinals of city playoffs. Young has gone 7-0-2 since their early season loss to Lane and are looking for revenge after Lane knocked them out of the playoffs the last 2 seasons. Also want to mention that Dylan Zade was in goal for that win last night. A little side note there. Mentioned Jason Hockman. Jason and I coached a I-9 flag football team that included Bennett Newman, Cole Hockman, Charlie Hockman, and Dylan Zade. So all
you guys have athletes.
Whitney Young, absolutely,
so
absolutely.
They made you guys look like good coaches then, huh?
The
coach finger metaphor is you guys were great coaches.
That's right. So I still have my playbook, which I believe was 82 pages long for volleyball. I'd be coming back from a business trip, and everybody else is pounding away on their laptops trying to get like some report sent out. I'm designing flag football plays.
There you go. For 9-year-olds.
You know, if you guys have listened to me, you know how tightly I hold these things, pretty tight.
Did you have you given that to the Whitney Young coaching staff, suggesting some plays for
I haven't, but I am keeping it. I like if who knows what
you will have grandkids.
Exactly.
Bennett goes away to school next year. You might want to.
I said if
pick up some
regardless of what he wants to do in college, if he pursues an angle, he's going to be one heck of a intramural quarterback. Girls tennis still undefeated in conference. They beat Peyton earlier this week. Girls golf, coached by Deborah Johnson. I mentioned last week they had their 3rd straight Chicago Public League Championship. They edged Lane Tech by 2 strokes, LTK, for all of you Whitney Young Dolphin students out there. Lane had won the previous 3 regular season matches against Whitney Young this year, so they weren't feeling great about that. Nice story on the Chicago Public League website about that win. And the Dolphins have 3 qualifiers for sectionals. So Isabel Rosat, Aria Chang, and Mackenzie Trevero all qualify. Trevero finished 3rd, and Rosewat finished 4th in the city. Chang was 5th, and so now they move on. Boys golf finished 2nd in the Chicago Public League. Henry Ryland led that team, led the Dolphins team, finished 3rd overall with a 2 under par. Team finished 3rd at regionals earlier this week, so they qualify as a team to move on to sectionals this weekend. Ryland finished 7th overall, carding a 78. Volleyball continues to roll along. They're 7-4 overall, 6-1 in conference. They swept Taft earlier this week. And in academics, I wanted to mention Whitney Young again recognized as one of the best high schools in the U.S. by U.S. News and World Report. So shout out to Principal Ricky Harris.
Yeah, just keep it going.
School of Champions on the field and in the classroom. We got 7 minutes. Maybe we'll take a wander over to some Chicagoland football scores.
Oh, what do you got for me?
Well, why don't we'll start in
the big boys won last night.
Yeah, we'll go to that. Well, let's start just talk
else?
Chicago Public League a little bit. So
right.
The scores that we had from last night: Clark 30, Perspectives 24. So we face off against Clark
next week.
Yep. So
it's a co-op school, right? So we got to give them all credit. Douglas and Austin.
Yep, all in there. So and we lost to Clark last year, 14-12. So it'll be a big revenge game, a game that really felt like we played better than Clark, but had a pick 6 and a questionable call in the end zone, and then they took care of things at the end. They got some running first downs on the ground.
And don't tell the kids, but it is this continues the way today continues the way it's going. Next week will be the one that gets you eligible.
Yes.
For the IHSA state playoffs. So
yep.
So big contest. You gotta finish out today strong and win that one, and you're have 2 to go.
Yep. Simeon defeated Lane last night, 26-6. And going on today, we've got Morgan Park. So Morgan Park ranked 17th in the Chicagoland area, number 3 overall in 5A right now. They take on Amundsen. Amundson's played some nice games. Their first year elevated to the red level, so we'll see what they're able to put on the field against Morgan Park today. Bulls Prep against Urban Prep, Phillips at Westinghouse, and Taft versus Kenwood. So that'll also, that Taft-Kenwood game will give us a little more information on those teams.
And same with the Westinghouse game. That'll be interesting because Phillips has played, I think, above what everybody expected from them this year. They're having another really great season, a CPS traditional power. And then Westinghouse, just to help us out, you said it a couple times, once we play you, we want you to win every one of your remaining games. So really need Westinghouse to come out strong, break out of that 2-game losing streak, and take care of business for Phillips. Helps us on the back end with our playoff seeding.
Yep. So that's how they tally the strength of schedule. So that's a good segue into Hope Academy. So Hope moved into that Chicagoland Christian Conference this year, where they're facing some really nice programs, right? So they came up with a big-time win over Marion Central last night, 28-26. So we know that they're led by Eddie Jenkins Jr. at quarterback. That Marion Central team, I think I've mentioned them a couple times, it's amazing the number of tight ends that are getting recruited out of Chicago to Power 5 programs. So they've got Christian Beneker, tight end, ranked the number 3 prospect in the state. He's going to Clemson. So Hope with a 2-point win this week. Last week they won by 1 point over Wheaton Academy. I think they lost to Aurora Academy. So those are the tough teams in that conference. They've got some other easier games coming up. I still think we talked about it on a broadcast. I think it was with Jack Wildermuth. Talked about the downstate cabal on this because Hope still isn't ranked in the top 10.
Right.
They got to 10. Then they
won and
beat
dropped out.
Wheaton and they drop out of the top 10. Absolutely ridiculous.
And I think they changed the rules on the rules on that one because it used to be for 1A and 2A, they broke it into north and south for the playoffs. So you basically had a northern top 16 and a southern top 16. So I think this year there's a chance that it's all one group of 32, and so Hope doesn't necessarily know where they're going to go or who they're going to face in the playoffs. You know, assuming they're 10-1, they should be a high seed. But yeah, it could be an interesting run to where are we going this year? Are we going to
Normal, right? ISU?
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's back there after and I think maybe it was there last year.
Yeah,
They wandered over to DeKalb for a year.
Well, it used to switch between Champaign-Urbana and DeKalb, but now I think they got everything at ISU last year.
Yeah. So a few other scores. Loyola keeps rolling along. Number 2 Loyola, led by the son of Pat Fitzgerald, Ryan Fitzgerald, 21-5 over number 12 St. Rita last night.
So did they give away that safety, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get a chance to read any of the details on that game. I did see Mount Carmel keeps rolling. So the 42-7 over Brother Rice. Brother Rice came in that game ranked 20th. I just saw some highlights. Darion Dupree, house 2. I think one on a run, one on a nice long pass.
You thought this was a hard ticket, kind of? Just wait till 2 Fridays from now, or 2 Fridays, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
Loyola,
week 9.
Loyola,
I think they're at
Carmel.
Mount Carmel this year, and I think Mount Carmel Stadium, even though it's new, holds about 200 people, maybe. I mean,
it's you're in on top of everything.
That's going to be a crazy, crazy game. Loyola 8A, Mount Carmel 7A, so they won't meet in the playoffs, but that one is for Chicagoland bragging rights right there.
Yep, absolutely. Now, I don't know if you heard me call this last week, but I said,
How do you like that?
no, you like that. It was my Kirk Cousins. I did say that a couple times out of frustration. But Carmel Catholic, I just wanted to go back to my prediction last week that I said I wouldn't look beyond those guys. So they're ranked 3rd right now at 4A.
Right.
Carmel Catholic. Johnny Weber, a quarterback that works out with Bennett Newman and Anthony Hood that we've gotten to know well and seen over the last 3 years. Also a receiver, Torrey French. Torrey committed to Indiana State. Johnny's going to Southwest
Sycamores.
Missouri State.
Right.
Yep. And I said watch that game. I would take Carmel in the points. Carmel was up over Mount Carmel into the 3rd quarter, 16-14.
Yeah.
So, but then they took care of business. Mount Carmel down the stretch. Mount Carmel still undefeated.
They're just tough, man. They're just.
A lot of good games last night. What is an upset, but also just 2 great teams. St. Francis 35, IC Catholic 34. So St. Francis wasn't ranked, but they could have been. IC Catholic ranked number 13. Alesso Miliojevic is the quarterback.
Easy for you to say.
Exactly. He's heading to Ball State, and he's the Boom quarterback, so he gets a lot of press with the Chicago Boom team. So he led St. Francis to that win.
Is that on a 7-on-7? Is that a?
Yep. It's a highlight reel after highlight.
It's not a sport.
But it's fun. It's like rock and roll,
yeah,
man.
I mean,
Or it's maybe more like a rap concert breaks out. It's pretty cool. But that's where Malik Elzy played on that team. Luke Williams played on that team. So Elzy picked up a touchdown. Elzy
got
from
his
Simeon got his
first
first touchdown catch with Illinois. Naz and Fenwick. So Naz, just like last year, started the year 0-4.
But they have no room to mess up at this point.
So they won last night over Fenwick, 26-16. So you've got Gabe Kaminsky. I saw he made another visit. He's got ND, Michigan, Wisconsin, Northwestern offers. Logan Malachuk is a quarterback there that started since day one. Oh, I wanted to mention on the Fenwick side of things, Nate Marshall, who's there, arguably the top other than Justin Scott. And Nate Marshall and the Fenwick people would say Nate Marshall's better than Justin Scott. Nate Marshall, only a junior. He picked up an offer this week from The Ohio State University.
I'm sorry, where?
Yeah, exactly.
Where? Huh?
I had
What?
Tony as a Notre Dame fan. It's sort of like a dog that gets that high pitched.
I'm still in
mourning over that.
Mary doesn't understand why, but I'm still in mourning.
That was a tough game last week. So Marshall, he's actually the grandson of Kenny Norman.
Oh, wow.
I also saw that. So Kenny Norman, who went to Crane High School,
Cool.
then to Illinois and had a nice long NBA career. So Nate Marshall also plays basketball at Fenwick. He's collecting some offers. A few other scores. Ignatius, 28. Notre Dame, 14. So Ignatius gets back in the win column, continues. I think they're 3-2, maybe 3-3 now. So they continue their quest to return to state where they had a nice long run last year. My second favorite team in the state behind the Whitney Young Dolphins
is
Prairie Ridge. Prairie Ridge, so I wanted to mention that. They won 50-8 over Dundee Crown, but I talked about it last week. One of the greatest rivalries in, call it the extended Chicagoland area.
Oh, Prairie Ridge, I mean, that's closer than some other schools that claim
Sure.
to be in Chicago.
Prairie Ridge against Cary Grove last week. So Prairie Ridge 21, Cary Grove 20. Cary
Missed
Grove
extra
missed
point.
an extra point. They
Yeah,
had scored
brutal.
within the last minute of the game. And so Prairie Ridge stays undefeated. They're ranked number 7th overall in Chicagoland by the Sun-Times. When I use rankings here, I always just use our
He's the man.
friends over at the Sun-Times.
Michael O'Brien, he's the guy.
Yep. So actually, that's going to be my segue right now.
What
So
about my Dukes? You skipping the York Dukes?
I got it here. York 32,
beat
Downers Grove North, which was ranked 18th going in. So York 32, Downers Grove 21. So York, I mean, those top, there are a lot of good teams, man.
Ton of good teams.
And Mount Carmel, Loyola, Lincoln Way East.
That's
York,
definitely not Chicagoland. I mean,
Right,
I gotta
exactly.
call.
Yeah.
I got to call no on that one.
So York has put some good things together there. But my segue, and maybe just before I go on to that, Batavia 21, Geneva 18. So Batavia 5,
man,
they're also monsters, top 5 type of program. That rivalry has been going on since 1921. So, Tony, you and I were in grade school back for the first time they played that game.
That's the disappointing part about CPS sometimes is not that Hyde Park is any kind of natural rivalry for Whitney Young, but this game has been played since 2012, yet the most natural rivalry in the world is Lane Tech. And this
they're not on our schedule.
And this is not on the schedule, right? That should be one of those rivalries they talk back to 1973 when Whitney Young opened. I mean, that should have been played every year.
Yeah, I think we could. It will be interesting. I mean, every year that I've been around since there's been a different alignment.
They reorganized,
right?
Yeah.
They've reorganized, and so you see Lincoln Park. Lincoln Park is undefeated, but they're playing at a lower level right now. It would be great to see them. They've got numbers. They've got 80 guys out for that program. Great to see them back at the red level.
It's kind of the relegation thing, though. Too, because Lincoln Park had 2 really bad seasons.
Absolutely,
they had 2 really.
And they
down
sort of
seasons.
fell apart as a program.
But
back to Eckersall.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So Eckersall went to Hyde Park High School.
Okay.
Then he was one of the highest recruited players. So Ecke was being recruited
what
by.
year are we in?
Let's call it 1920.
Okay.
Some ish around there, and Michigan wanted him. Chicago wanted him. So that was Stagg. Coach Stagg was there at the time.
Where
right?
fun goes to die.
It did, but I don't think then it didn't go.
Not then.
Maybe not. So the story is that
The Maroons.
Ecke was on the train platform, going to head over to Ann Arbor for his recruiting visit, and Stagg basically
Pulled him off
kidnapped
the
him. Yep, pulled him off the train platform, and then he went on, played for the Maroons. A huge win. They called it the game of the century in whatever 1921,
the game of the
where
century of the week.
where they won. They beat Michigan 2-0, and back then. There was no such thing as forward progress.
Right.
So there was a punt that went out of bounds at the 1, right? And the running back got back to the 1, but then got pushed into the end zone.
And called it a safety.
And it called a safety. So after that, Eckersall, after his he's in the College Hall of Fame, he went on to become a sports writer. And then as a sports writer, he's sort of occupational hazard. He died of cirrhosis of the liver at 43 years old. So Eckersall lived a good life.
Hey, you got your story.
Played hard.
Got your story in by 1.
Yeah.
Hit the bar at.
All right. Solomon Bradley kicks it away.
Oh,
up back, takes
right
it,
there.
and down immediately. And that is our quarterback, Cornell Juju Conley, on the catch. And so the Thunderbirds will start their drive inside the 20-yard line.
So I failed you on a name. I had it written down, and then I forgot it. So the best news for the Thunderbirds this week is their best basketball player from last year that transferred to Phoenix to go to prep school announced that he was coming back, enrolled at Hyde Park this week. So they're looking good for the upcoming Chicago Public League basketball season. So that was great news for them.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, some of these teams that we play that maybe struggled a bit on the football side of things have some excellent basketball teams. Curie being one of those. They knocked us out of the playoffs last year. And a lot of movement in basketball with transfers.
A lot of transfers.
So we're starting out here 28-0. Dolphins leading. Thunderbirds. Conley back to pass. He's getting pressured, rolling out of the pocket, and brought down by number 52, Jason Perez.
Great job, though. Great lane discipline that time by the Dolphins. Nowhere at all to go, and Perez was there to clean it up after a gain of just 3.
Yeah, a lot of the young guys getting some time on that line. Adrian Del Villar, number 54, nice pursuit on that play.
Yeah, he was the one. He stopped. He just kept his play integrity on that and forced the play outside where Perez was there to clean it up.
Yep, Boubacar Berry in on the nose. A lot of time in the first half here. Perez, champion at the linebacker, outside linebacker positions.
They got 4 guys to the right side of this football.
Yeah. Handoff to the right side.
Ooh.
Clayton got cleaned up, but might have been a flag. I think there was a hold on the outside before Aaron Champion with the tackle.
So you gotta, if you're the Dolphins, you gotta see that and shift your formation. I don't think that the Thunderbirds are sophisticated enough to have 4 guys to the right of the center and a man in motion to the right, and then bring the ball back to the left. So you need to shift all your linebackers that direction, because it was a nice gain. It was a 7-yard, 8-yard gain with the hold. And as you said, for the first time this season, I think Joseph Clayton got blocked.
Yep, somebody out there in that 6-7 man line was roaming free, and Clayton, who keeps those pads low at 5'8", 165 pounds. But Joseph, you're leading the team in tackles, led the team in tackles last year. We probably should get off of the fact that that play was just a penalty.
Right,
and
it
so
didn't matter, right?
The only thing that matters is that kid's huddle highlight reel.
But we got to talk. I mean, let's run this play. I got a question. Here we go again, same play.
Yep. And
see, they are sophisticated enough to run the naked boot.
And so that's Del Villar.
Out of bounds. Oh, he stepped out of bounds.
And Jason Perez ultimately cleaned up over there by Luke Jolich. Clayton again on the pursuit of Conley.
So gain of 9 brings up.
So you thought they weren't going to roll on that?
Good credit to them, man.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what I was talking to some of the Dolphin players earlier in the week, and they were talking about the way this line looks, and they're like, it's kind of like the left guard is snapping the ball, just the way it's
right.
The way set up.
So far, I mean, Scott Clayton, thank you for letting me take your spot today. I appreciate it. But his money's staying in his wallet today, just the way this offense is run. There's no spectacular plays really out there to be had.
Oh, you're just
now they got 5. Now they got 5 guys to the.
And a pass by Conley. Whips over. That's
job.
Aaron Champion. Nice
Great
job making the tackle on the outside. So Champion checking in the lineup for Tyson Hayes. We've been on and off the air, so we want to talk about Tyson Hayes this week, who got an offer from Pomona, the Sage Hens.
So
we know that Tyson recuperating. Our thoughts are with you, my man.
But congratulations to him. Couple tree CPL players out there. Our own Sam Wyatt is a sophomore out there, and there's 2 Peyton Grizzlies out there also.
Excellent. We hope that Tyson joins him as well. So Tyson,
the Sage Hens, if you will.
Yeah, I read the definition of a Sage Hen last year. I might have to bust that out again.
Yeah, there you go.
It requires parental guidance.
Not safe for public radio.
Not safe for work definition of a Sage Hen, but it was on the internet.
Well, that makes it
exactly.
True then. Get away.
Punted, rolling dead inside Thunderbird territory at the 48-yard line.
Clock is a running clock, or they just didn't feel like stopping it?
They just did not feel like stopping it because it should not be a running clock. Hey, shouldn't be a running clock, guys. Now they still haven't shut it off.
Maybe both teams agreed. I don't know.
Oh, it could
Maybe
be. We'll have to find out. Maybe because of the heat out here, we'll just see. So the clock is running. 8:37 left here in the game.
But yeah, Champion. I mean, just listening to you guys call the game last week, he had a great second half. He was all over the place, and that was a great read by him on that last play.
Yep. So Newman has Hood to his right. I think Clayton or Jolich to his left. It was Jolich. Inside handoff to Hood. Hood tripped up in the middle of the line by number 62, Antonio Haywood. So Hood looked like he had some things working. He had some blockers downfield.
Yeah, he was
kind of flattened out the run a little bit.
Running parallel to the line of scrimmage there. Thought he had the corner. That's the second or third time that the Dolphins thought they had a play, and a Thunderbird didn't quit on it, came back from behind and ruined the rhythm. So 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13.
So Gassa, Joseph Gray to the right. On top of the formation, Nasir Rankin, Jolich and Hood in the backfield with Newman. Hyde Park looking like they might want to blitz the side. Inside handoff to Jolich. Jolich out to the 35, across outside to the 30. Nice run by Luke Jolich. Nice patience.
I'm going to tell you again, another great block by Nasir Rankin out there. Didn't really put his hands on anybody, just ran a screen, a basketball screen, against that right outside linebacker and freed Jolich for an extra 10 yards.
All right, Dolphins going into a hurry up here. Hyde Park bringing somebody off. Referee, I guess, really could have gone on that. And
so
had
18 yards on that for Jolich.
So Newman is quarterback, rolling to his right. He's got some pressure.
Block.
Nice pickup. Going deep to Joseph Gray.
Oh,
just overshot. Gray
stopped running.
Yep, stopped his route a little bit. And was overshot on that pass. So they dialed that up. They want to get Joseph Gray some touches. Dynamic sophomore. So that'll bring up a third down.
Yeah, Newman threw it where he was supposed to be. No, it should be second down and 10. Right? Because Jolich.
Oh yeah.
Jolich
Sorry,
had
I still had the Anthony Hood run in my mind.
Yep. Yeah, Newman perfect, threw that right where Gray would have been if he had taken another step and a half. But he thought the ball was underthrown and stopped on the goal line rather than a step into the end zone.
So trips to the right, one receiver to the left. Maxwell Warner in the backfield. Warner with the handoff. And he's brought down after a short gain. It's number 51, Dejan Nottage.
Go back to that pass play, though, Barry. Great blitz pickup by Jolich.
Yes.
He just stuck his head in there, picked up the incoming linebacker, and gave Newman all the time in the world to put that ball.
Because Newman rolling to his right.
Yeah.
He had some pursuit from behind, but then a blitzing linebacker to the front side that could have been dangerous, and Jolich took care of business for him there. There have been some really nice blitz pickups by the running backs, and this offensive line has done its job all year. Newman's only been sacked twice all year. And that's a credit to the offensive line. I think also a credit to Newman and his vision and his ability to get rid of the ball.
Throw it away, live another day.
So two running backs next to Newman. That's Maxwell Warner in motion to the right. They look right, go back left.
Boom,
that's
nice block.
Anthony Hood.
Nice block.
Hold the block.
Oh,
big time block downfield, and Hood puts his shoulder down.
Oh, my goodness.
Was that Baba Nefasimi Opadele?
Baba Nefasimi Opadele just buried a guy.
I got some guys on the sideline fired up, the coaching staff.
Oh, my goodness.
Nice little inside misdirection play. So it had everything rolling to the right, Anthony leaking out to the left, and gave the opportunity for Baba Nefasimi Opadele to add something to his highlight reel.
Oh, my.
So I do think I'm going to guess that the coaches did agree on a running clock. So we're running here, 5 minutes left.
3 minutes and 40 seconds on that drive.
Snap from 4-star long snapper Ben Barrett is coming up. Maybe at some point soon. It's low, but Conrad handles it. And the kick by Miles Bardsma is good.
That brings our score to 35-0.
35-0. Dolphins up over the Hyde Park Thunderbirds.
But just so the poor cornerback out there got blocked by Rankin. Rankin did a great job not holding, just pushed him off. And then nobody saw 55 coming. And 55 just blew him up. And then Anthony Hood walked into the end zone.
I don't know if it was a walk. I mean, there was 2 hits on that. Baba Nefasimi Opadele on the block. And then Anthony had to do a little bit of work there at the end zone. But nice job. Give me a recap now. Normally I'm not good at writing stuff down, but we've got a Clayton touchdown run.
Two Clayton
touchdown runs.
8-4.
Luke Jolich.
We got. Can we go in order?
Yeah, absolutely. Tony, I'm just gonna be quiet for a minute.
So we had Clayton from 8 yards, made it 7-0. Clayton from 4 yards made it 14-0. Then we had Newman to Gassa, made it 21-0. That was from where was that? That was from 4 yards. No, that was from 2 yards.
It was a short
out.
pass after a nice long pass.
And then we had Jolich from a yard out, and then we had that from 28 yards out.
All right, the kickoff fielded by Conley back at the 10. He's making some guys miss. Nice tackle. Nice job by, I think that was Pantoja.
Yeah, so
Brian Pantoja on the special teams tackle.
Touchdowns of 8-4, 2-1, and 28 yards, and plays of 8-6, 4-4, and 5. So the longest being the 78-yard drive that ended in the Jolich run took 2:03 that closed out the close out the first half.
Girls golf programs at Brooks College Prep, Washington, and Hyde Park High Schools.
All right, 35-0 here. Beautiful day in Hyde Park. We're getting a little bit of breeze, which is good, because even though it was listed as 72 degrees, I think our real temp on that is a little bit higher.
I'm going to have to explain why I'm sunburned when I get back to the office.
We can ask Vaughn Conrad's dad, Paul Conrad, meteorologist here in Chicago. Might get to see a little bit of Vaughn on the offensive side later. We've seen him on 5 holds already. So Conley at quarterback, receiver in motion. Conley's going to keep it. Jason Perez does a nice job filling. And then Javon Hobbs.
And Jolich at the bottom, too.
Yeah, I think Alexander Oshesky on that. But Oshesky cleaning up. I think Javon Hobbs, again, in that run support out of the corner position, did a nice job of turning that up. Everybody did a nice job.
Great read by Hobbs, though. He held his position, waited to make sure it was a run, and then attacked downhill, and then had help from the inside, Jolich coming from his linebacker spot. So they're calling that a gain of
-1.
Gain of -1. Sorry, I'm confused.
All right, so Hyde Park, 2nd and 11. Conley with the inside handoff. Big scrum in there. Again, seems like, I think that was number 54, Adrian Del Villar, getting some time, getting the tackle in the middle. So we've seen Boubacar Berry, Del Villar, Oshesky, and Piricini, the Boubacar Berry, the senior, but the rest of those guys, sophomores, getting a bunch of time today.
So you got Duhan now at free safety. Anthony's moved over more to a cornerback spot, and you got Hobbs on the left side, and Clayton and Jolich on the inside. So there's this extended line, this 5-man, now 6-man line for the Dolphins has done the job today, shutting down this rushing attack from the Thunderbirds. I mean, you can see you got
3rd and 7.
9 guys in the box.
Yep. Conley back to pass, looking to his right. I think that was Joseph Gray coming off the edge. Yep, Gray off the edge. And we're going to give him that sack, even though Jolich and
he'll get a half anyway. I mean,
Oshesky were there. I'm going to give the whole thing to Joseph Gray. Doggone it.
There you go.
I think he was there. He caused the pressure, and then he was still hanging on.
Called his own number there.
Yep.
So that should have been the last play of the quarter. We'll punt from the other end after a short break. Where are they going to put the ball down, on the 21?
Yeah, on the 21.
So that was a loss of 7.
So Hyde Park, even though I've watched a few of their games on film where they didn't punt, I think number 99 is their punter, and he's coming in, and he's running to this end of the field, but now he can take a
break,
80-yard stroll to the other side of the field.
And at the end of the 3rd quarter,
looks like our stream is still up and running. Again, our apologies for the issues early on. I think we might have this game
with the running
recorded, although if the game is recorded on the card, you can also get me dropping F-bombs left and right, so maybe we won't release that.
Well, we can clean it up.
Yeah, we might have to check the audio.
The middle of the first quarter will just be beep, 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 beep.
I mean, in F-bombs, I was saying.
The beauty of it, though, is that mic won't pick up. You didn't have your mic on, so it
was probably sitting next to me, and I think I said it enough times.
I always click the not for kids, so I don't think YouTube will kick us off anytime.
All right, well that's good.
Soon.
That's good.
We'll get in more trouble for us in the background them playing this song, and whoever the copyright police sit there and think we're actually using.
Well, we actually
Lil
did.
Nas's music.
You know what? We got flagged on the Whitney Houston Star Spangled Banner at the Hope game.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if you've seen that on our stream.
Yeah.
But we got flagged for using unauthorized music because they picked it up in the background. That was when Brandon Johnson was there for the coin toss, first game of the year. So Thunderbirds ready to punt it away. I think we got Nas Rankin deep. Oh, that's Quinn Duhan.
Easy.
Quinn Duhan
gets having a little trouble with that turf.
Gets out of the way. Yeah, the turf monster was. I mean, nobody else is going to tackle Quinn Duhan from Akron. Maybe just the Eckersall turf. So the Dolphins will take over.
Now the clock stopped. So we had a running clock in the third quarter. Now that it's 35, we should have a running clock.
It's always a little bit of an adventure. A little bit of an adventure here. And we try to keep it together. We try to guide our listeners on this journey.
Well, we talked at the top, if you were with us, that the Dolphins struggled a little bit on third down and with red zone possessions. 5 possessions today, Barry. 5 house calls.
5 red zone touchdowns. That's going to be that's great.
5 touchdowns.
5 touchdowns.
4
right?
red zone. 4 red zone touchdowns.
Yeah. So now they keep the music playing while we're into the game here. Newman with Rankin in motion. He's got Maxwell Warner next to him. Newman looking to pass. Wings it out. Oh, long pass over the top of Joseph Gray. So Newman,
good route
into the wind, overshot his receiver, and that could have been intercepted in a house call for Hyde Park.
The problem is McMahon, number 10, thought he had it, saw it. He tipped it, and I'm not sure who the other cornerback was out there, but McMahon tipped it out of his own guy's hands, really. And Dolphins live to fight another day. Only 3 interceptions on the year for a young Bennett Newman. So
so Newman,
great job
2
by
interceptions
him.
and again, when you look at turnovers, by 2 in the first half of the Hope game.
Yeah.
Right, and then the one last week, which was off a receiver's hands in the end zone.
On 4th down, kind of forced a little bit.
Yeah.
Just you didn't have anywhere else to go with the ball.
So 2nd and 10, Gassa in motion. It's in tight 2 receivers left. Handoff inside to Maxwell Warner. Nice hole there for him.
What patience.
Good job on the outside for Anthony Hood also. So Maxwell Warner picks up a 1st down across the 50 to the 49-yard line.
So we talked about how the Dolphins, unlike a lot of high school teams, are able to pull 2 guards. That was just a beautiful play. Both guards pulled on that, and great patience waiting for that hole to open, and a pickup of 12. Pick up a 13.
Cepeda and Obedelli, the guards, getting out there, getting in space, giving Maxwell Warner some opportunities out there. Running game has worked with all the Dolphins running backs today. Warner, Yolich, and Clayton. So 1st down, just inside Thunderbirds territory. Newman waiting for the snap. He pulls it from Warner. He's going deep. Hood is out there.
Oh, interference.
Yeah. Nice defensive play. I mean, I would agree that there was a lot of contact.
Anthony left his feet to go get it, and he was all of a sudden 2 yards further than when he started.
So that was Juju Connolly back there in coverage, the quarterback and cornerback. So trying to hook up on a long pass from Newman to Hood. Nice looking ball.
Yeah, beautiful ball. Maybe just a touch underthrown, but he's thrown into the wind. Nice.
Yeah.
10
well,
mile
and
an hour.
actually there was a lot of contact early in that route. So I think a little bit there where Hood got slowed up on his route. So 2nd down at the 49. 2 receivers, 1 receiver left, 3 right. Handoff to Maxwell Warner. Nice seal block on the outside.
Oh, it's coming back. I think they're going to call a push in the back on that.
Yeah, that's what I think so too. So Warner out to the 45.
Now here's a chance. Where are they going to mark it?
Well, that'll
right.
It should back to the journey that we're on.
It should be to the 45 of Whitney Young, not to the 40. But he's going to mark it 10 yards from line of scrimmage. Watch. It should be right there. Stop. Stop. That's horrible. That's just horrible. It's just that's not the rule anymore. And if the foul was at the 45. Anyway.
So it was at the 45, and we ended up with a 15-yard penalty on it. So brings up 2nd down. The Dolphins need to get to the Thunderbird 39-yard line. 2 receivers right, 2 left. Newman.
Oh, you got 5 back.
5 back on that.
Flag on the play against Hyde Park.
So 2 guys jumping off sides. Dolphins held their own on the front line.
I'm sure if Bennett wants to do it, he could do it again.
Well, and he's got a method to do that. I'll share that later in the year. It's
all right,
kind of fun.
I'll tell you. I don't know how much you went and watched the game last week, but when Bennett got them Westinghouse to jump offside, pick up that 1st down, whoever the right tackle was flinching. He was rocking back.
Ah, okay.
So if they had held for another second, it would have been against us.
Rankin in motion. 2 left, 2 right. Newman back to pass. Looking.
Oh,
He's got
Oh, Anthony.
Off Anthony's hands. Anthony's not happy about that. So a little dig route on the sidelines. That 12 was not able to hook up with 3. Brings up 3rd down. 8:30 left here in the, now the clock is running again.
Interesting, though. They had everybody, all 4 receivers just ran a 5-yard hook. So Newman could have picked out anybody. He had Gassa open on the hash on this near side.
It's getting the time again. Good job by this offensive line, both in the run game and in pass protection.
So here you got somebody uncovered on this side. And look how far off they are.
So Newman back to pass. He's got the time. He's got a receiver.
Ooh.
It was, I thought it was
Gray.
Duhon. It was Gray. Just behind Gray. A couple guys running free there. So it brings up 4th down. Looks
15.
like the Dolphins are going to go for it here. I see Newman talking to Boucher. 4th and a lot to pick up, but the Dolphin offense has been clicking today.
And, yeah, the clock's running. We're at 7.5. Dolphins lead 35-0. So this is their 6th possession. So it has been a short possession game, right? You knew you weren't going to get a ton, and they've made the most, scoring on their first 5. You got 3 receivers down to this side for you, Barry.
Yep, so you got Gray.
You got Gassa just down the hash, man. Just send him. It's a touchdown. It's a touchdown.
So a blitz
Oh,
up the
you got
middle
Rankin.
picked up. Rankin.
First down.
First down. Nice catch. Rankin had 2 Thunderbird defenders zeroing in on him. Did a nice job of securing that catch right at the first down sticks.
Great patience by Newman on that, and beautiful throw. You know, late and not badly late, but late over the middle, right? That was not a timing play. Rankin had to come open and put it right on his numbers, right at the line to gain.
So Maxwell Warner, the running back. Hood, the receiver closest to us. Rankin in the slot next to him. Newman back. Quick pitch over to Gray. Gray on his horse.
Oh, jeez.
Got face mask.
Oh, they got 2 flags, 2 different penalties. You got a hold against the Dolphins at the 30, and then the personal foul. Nope, we got 2 holds against the Dolphins. What's he doing?
Well, we'll see what they end up giving us. It definitely looked like a face mask on Gray, just the way he was tackled out of bounds.
So the back judge has a hold at the 30, and the head linesman on the Dolphins sideline, or the head linesman had a play going out of bounds. So hold, and then a face mask. Yeah. So I think we'll just do it over.
Yep. So offsetting penalties.
Do over
on a nice little talked about, and that's again talk about the playbook here for the Dolphins, and looking at some of these quick screen. Will DeMille in now. You want to go to DeMille down here?
No, I want Gassa.
You want Gassa in the slot.
Oh, you got 2. You got both
side.
of them. You got both of them 1-on-1.
There's a lot
safeties on the far hash.
Yep, they're shading
and they're
Hood
blitzing
over on that side. Newman, nicely done blitz pickup. He wings it over. That's Hood.
Reaches for the first down. Great job by Anthony. Let's see where they spot it. Yep, gave him first down. Great job. Anthony reached the football out, picked up the first down.
So just under 6 minutes left here in the game, 35-0. Dolphins on a drive on their 6th possession. They've been able to put it in the house on each of their previous possessions. I wouldn't have remembered that, but Tony McHale, the Godfather, is my trusted. And I mean, you're not even. I mean, you're the man. I'm the wingman here.
Hardly. Come on.
I am just the wingman.
You've been doing this for 2 years now. You got this down.
All right. So
the voice of Whitney Young football.
Newman at quarterback. Warner next to him trips to his
Rankin
left.
Touchdown. Oh,
he's got so much time. He's going
late.
deep.
Ooh.
And through the hands of Anthony Hood. Sort of a high-risk ball. Anthony Hood and Rankin both in that neighborhood.
Yeah, he had Rankin early.
So that'll be 2nd down from the 25-yard line. 5 minutes left in the game. So it'll be good to have a look at those stats after the game, Tony, when you tally them up. I mean, I think it's a nice balanced offensive attack. Running game got going today. Some nice passes. Newman found Gassa on a long pass and then was rewarded with a Newman to Gassa touchdown pass. A nice little screen to Anthony Hood that he took to the house. Here's a handoff to Warner. Warner keeps his legs going. He's tackled.
Wow, that was a quick whistle, whatever that was.
Minimal gain.
Maxwell Warner on the run for the Dolphins.
I like the counter, though. I like the counter action. You got a team that's over pursuing right now. 4 minutes and 15 seconds left in this football game. Dolphins avoid the Westinghouse hangover after that tough-fought game last week.
Yep, Dolphins. It's a week-by-week thing, but yeah, you brought up the big points. I mean, next week is a big one to just make you eligible and keep winning these Chicago Public League games, right? Because you got your eye on state, but you also have your eye on that city championship. So
right, you want to play into November.
Just keep playing games. Just keep playing games. Newman's got. Is that Gassa again?
Yep, Gassa having
nice
a
job.
huge day.
Newman, Gassa probably his third read on that. That offensive line just controlling things up front, giving him all day. So found Gassa down the seam. Gassa did a nice job. These receivers are also doing a really nice job of securing some contested catches.
Ball is at the 4-yard line. Then we're going to get a timeout from the Thunderbirds. So that was a 20-yard pitch and catch. I think that's Gassa's fourth of the day.
Sounds right.
And he's got to be close to 80, 85 yards on those 4 catches. And he's a big kid, right? But more impressively, he is just catching the ball and bullying his way for some yards after catch.
Yeah, I mean, Harrison Gassa, 6'5", 195, right? So you see what he's doing out here as a receiver. Last week against Westinghouse, he dominated that line of scrimmage.
Right, from that H-back kind of spot. Yeah. They bring him in. And, I mean, the beauty as you watch this Dolphins offense, and it's great because you've had Bennett really, running the show for 2 years but paying attention for 3 years, that the formations that they're able to run out of and run different plays out of the same formation, you don't let these defenses kind of mark you and say, all right, they're doing this, the H-back is on this side. I was at a game last night where you could see it, and the scouting was so good that the defense took the free safety, and no matter where the 2 receiver set was, put the free safety over the H-back because they knew the other team was only going to run to the strong side of the formation, regardless if the 2 receivers were on the weak side. So Coach Eddie has this team set up where they're going to run every play out of every formation, which is just a great testament to these players.
2 receivers left and right. Rankin in motion to the left. Newman waiting for the snap. Newman back, looking for the corner to Anthony Hood.
No, out of bounds.
Calling it out of bounds. Couldn't quite dot it in there.
Close, so close.
I know they've been talking about running that play. It's a play that they work on all off season, all winter.
And it was good. It's beautifully executed. Just Anthony couldn't tiptoe in. Ball thrown where nobody else could get to it, but Anthony, defender, hadn't even looked back. And a great throw and catch, just an inch too far.
So second down, Hood and Rankin to the right.
So this is
Gassa and DeMille to the left. Maxwell Warner in the backfield with Newman. Now Rankin on the motion. We'll see if they do the same thing. They're doing the same thing. Newman missed him on that one. So they had that set up where they did the fade, and here they did the slant, and Newman just chucked it over the top of Anthony Hood's
and again,
head.
So we talk about formation. You had 2 receivers to the left of the formation. You had Rankin come in motion, so you pulled the linebacker and the safety to the left side of the offensive formation. You had Anthony Hood one-on-one with his cornerback. We got a timeout on the field.
Timeout by the Thunderbirds.
And there's 3 minutes and 3 seconds left in this game that the Dolphins lead 35-0. Barry, this is the 11th play of this drive coming up that started on the Dolphin 38. So, and I know we have kind of a running clock, kind of not a running clock, but this drive started the fourth quarter. I mean, they had the punt, right? The punt was the first play of the quarter, and then the Dolphins went. So Hyde Park hasn't touched the ball offensively in this fourth quarter, and just a methodical drive. 1 conversion on fourth down. The beautiful
long pass to Rankin.
Beautiful pass to Rankin. He had a great grab by Anthony Hood. Picked up another first down with the reach. Maxwell Warner, a couple runs.
So I'm sure the Dolphins want to punch this one in here. 35-0. Third down.
Who's out there? You got Warner. Maxwell Warner is the running back.
the running back. You got DeMille and Rankin over on the right-hand side. Hood and Gassa. Gassa lined up in a tight end position right now. So Warner deep. Gassa motions to the right. Handoff to Maxwell Warner. Wide open, untouched run into the middle. And Babanefasimi Opadele ran over Hyde Park guy and the official at the end of that, giving Maxwell Warner his first rushing touchdown, his first varsity rushing touchdown. He scored earlier this year on a screen pass. So that puts the Dolphins up 41-0 here with 2:37 left, and now the clock is running again. Because it would be, right? Because
now
it's over 40 points. So
and I think it should have been running anyway.
So Bardsma on to attempt the point after touchdown.
I already wrote it down. Is that bad?
4-star. I don't believe in jinxes. 4-star center. Long snapper, Ben Barrett to Conrad, who does a nice job. Get up and short.
Sorry.
There is no such thing as an announcer jinx. Except when Tony McHale says it.
Yeah.
So that was the first missed extra point, kicked extra point for the Dolphins this year. At the scoreboard here, they put it on the board.
See, everybody just assumed it was good.
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure we're going to get this kickoff the way.
Probably not. So clock is running, 1:44 left. Nice win today for the Whitney Young Dolphins, traveling on the road to Hyde Park, facing the Hyde Park Thunderbirds. This is going to take the Dolphins to 4-2 on the season. So thinking back to it, Coach Eddie, I don't know if you heard his quote. The first 4 weeks of the year were like a shot and a chaser.
Yep.
So your shot was Chicago Hope. Your chaser was Perspectives. Your shot was Morgan Park. Your chaser was Curie. Then the game against Westinghouse last week, which, again, looking back on it, really well-played game. A lot of penalties, a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda on some things, but the Dolphins kept coming back, right?
Well,
so some things were taken off the board. They just kept coming back and ultimately broke that Westinghouse team.
Well, so great that the second half, Barry, they only allowed 1 third-down conversion. There you go. There's Dorsey.
Yep, Maxwell Warner taking him out of bounds. Right at the 50-yard line.
Only 1 third-down conversion for the Westinghouse in the second half, and 4 turnovers. Right, 2 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions, and one of them a pick six. So the Dolphins' defense, after the first drive of the first half last week and the first drive of the second half, figured out Booley what they had to do to stop him, kept him contained, and went out and took that football game. Right, they weren't waiting for the clock to run out; they won it going away, and they did a great job today. 6 possessions, 6 first downs. After that first drive, they're going to let the game end.
Yep.
After that first drive today, the 11 plays that ended in the interception, the Hyde Park didn't have anything.
Yep. So good job, Coach Finger. Coach Finger's 20th victory
There you go.
in his career as a Whitney Young head coach. Next week, we are the visiting team, but we'll be playing at the friendly confines of Newt Rockne Stadium on Central. That game is a 5 o'clock Saturday game. So, again, I know a lot of you out there had your Friday night planned, had your Sorelli's subs. Did not give Sorelli's enough shout-outs today as I was scrambling to get the live stream on air. But you had your Sorelli's Italian beef and you had your cold ones iced.
It's the only reason I came today, actually.
I think there'll be one for you.
Sorelli's
I think there'll definitely will be a post-game sub for Tony McHale. So we will be there on air next week, hopefully. By
it's a new
5 o'clock.
New month shouldn't be
might have more
no bandwidth
data,
problems.
no bandwidth issues. So the 4-2 Whitney Young Dolphins running down to the end of the field, celebrating right now. Want to give a big thank you to Tony McHale. We love having you as part of this overall team. We talk a lot during the week, compare notes. You do a lot of work for the team, putting together the program, putting together the stats. So great to have you on the call. Your knowledge of the game is by far beyond anything I can possibly imagine.
It's all about family, right? It's Coach Finger's not buzzword, but
forget about me.
Theme,
I love you.
the
family.
theme of this team.
So happy to have you continue as part of the family. Probably didn't talk enough about Pat McHale, who is the quarterback who
Yeah.
graduated 2 years ago
You
down
would-
in Indiana right now.
I would guarantee you probably talk to Pat McHale more than I talk to Pat
well,
McHale.
you know, he's living his best life. Pat McHale has always been living his best life.
Somehow, you know, he communicates when he needs something.
Well, and I would say this. I mean, back to the family thing, and you've seen it. I mean, Pat McHale was amazing to Bennett Newman as a senior quarterback with Bennett as a sophomore quarterback. You're talking about the value that Bennett had as being part of this program and seeing how those things develop. That was a big part on Coach Finger, on the culture that he establishes with these guys. But then what those guys do, and it's cool because Newman does that with the younger quarterbacks. Von Conrad, I know, is following right in that wake. And we're excited to see how the rest of this season plays out. So thanks again to everybody for joining us today. Want to thank Principal Ricky Harris. We talked about Whitney Young being named within the U.S. News and World Report top schools. Want to thank Coach Chris Cassidy, Athletic Director Chris Cassidy. I want to thank Coach Dan Finger and his staff and everything that they do. I want to thank again Tony, Remy. Great job, Rennie Vaudel, on the camera. I know we've had a lot of good comments from everybody for Remy's job on the live stream. I want to thank all of you, Dolphin fans. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you again next Friday.
All right, Barry. Thanks for having me. We'll see you down the road in the playoffs somewhere.
All right. Thanks, everybody.